The poor man's Rolex. I hate it when people say that about Tudor. Yes, this may have had an ounce of truth back in the day when, like 50 years ago, Tudor was putting off-the-shelf movements in Rolex cases, but in 2024, Tudor has fully differentiated itself from Big Brother with its own design language, its own engineering, and even heritage, while maintaining a much more approachable price point. And I think that's why enthusiasts still really gravitate towards this brand. So in this video, I've bought, borrowed, begged for some of the best Tudor releases this year. Let's see if you agree. So I'm gonna list these in no particular order. Remember, my opinions are just that, and I love to hear yours, and that's why we created the WatchCrunch app for watch nerds to talk watches without political ads, cat videos, just watches. The Black Bay 58 was introduced in 2018, has been the blueprint of how to hit all your marks and reignite a brand in the minds of the enthusiast. This year, Tudor carried that Goldilocks proportion to the GMT. It's more evolution than revolution because we've had a Black Bay GMT already, but this one is much more similar to the 58 in terms of size at 39 by 12.5 thick. That's only about 0.5 mil thicker than the Black Bay 58, and contrast this with the Black Bay Pro that we got last year, which is 14.6. That's a world of difference. It's also a whole size down, like I said, from the 2018 Black Bay GMT, which stood at a full 41 millimeters wide and 50 lug to lug. That was a big boy. Besides the downsizing, there have been some key design differences, mostly welcome, but some controversial. The old one had the red and blue Pepsi bezel. The new 58 GMT has a red and black Coke bezel. The major controversy here on the bezel is the use of gilt in the numerals. Is it too much gilt? I'll let you decide, but I think you can think of this two ways. It does make the watch feel a little bit more dated, but on the other hand, if you look at like old Bakelite bezel Rolex GMTs, they kind of age into a nice golden hue. So this watch is more in line in terms of size with the vintage Rolex, and the gilt, therefore, to me, is kind of consistent with that vintagey vibe. Personally, I don't mind, but I know when I did a poll on this on Instagram, it was like a toss-up. Otherwise, the dial is matte black with the word GMT printed at the 6, which is a first for Tudor as far as I could tell. I wish they had kept the red GMT hand like the old watch. It really helped to kind of differentiate it from the other hands at a glance, but as a package, I think this watch works. It's got a great bracelet with the faux rivets, the T-fit adjustment. The Pelagos FXD, I think, is the soul of Tudor as a brand. See, Tudor projects this image of rugged, military-inspired equipment, and with the relationship with the Marine Nationale and all, no watch in this lineup better embodies the tool-like nature that Tudor wants you to feel than the Pelagos FXD. I especially like the new black dial with the pop of red at the 6. I personally bought this watch, but every feature in the FXD feels like it serves the purpose of helping Navy commandos do their commando things. The case is 42 millimeters wide with an expansive, highly legible dial with just ridiculous lume. The entire case is milled from a single block of titanium, which is more salt and water corrosion resistant than steel. FXD stands for fixed lugs, of course, ridding the watch of the traditionally weakest component, which is the spring bar. It's also thinned out to 12.75 millimeters, much thinner than the full-size Pelagos, allowing it to hug the wrist. But despite its sort of rough and tumble nature, handling the FXD, you can feel the quality built into this watch. One thing that's really striking is just how closely the hand stack comes to each other. It's just kind of amazing that they can rotate without rubbing up against each other or the crystal. But if there's one thing I don't care for on the FXD, it's the Velcro strap that it ships with. The material is nice, but it's just kind of awkward the way you put it on, and I can't seem to find a way to wear it without either seeing the Velcro peeking through or having that floppy tail of the strap in just dangle. And that's why we've actually been working on an FXD version of the Zero Pass strap. May or may not be ready, depending on when you're watching this video, but I'll show you a sneak peek of a prototype here. If you're interested, more information can be found at anachronist.shop. Okay, enough serious dive watches. The most fun you can have in a Tudor right now has got to be the new Black Bay chronograph in pink. I'm not a footballer, but you do feel a little bit famous wearing this David Beckham special. And for those of you who thinks my taste in watches leans geriatric, surprise, surprise, I do love what they've done here. The dial is this Pepto-Bismol pink with a matte surface, and it contrasts really well with the black bezel and the black subdials, keeping it with that classic panda aesthetic. We'll call this like a panda with IBS. But the 41x14 case is big, but paired with the beautiful drapey Jubilee bracelet, it's very wearable. It's just pretty. It's like shiny enough to dazzle, but matte enough not to be too garish. And it's got the technicals to back it up. This isn't just a pretty face, right? The MT5813 movement inside came actually in a trade between Tudor and Breitling. And if you're gonna trade for a chronograph movement, why not trade with the guys who invented chronographs? The B01 is a highly capable movement with a vertical clutch and a column wheel, words that you really want to hear with your chronograph movement. It belongs in a watch priced much higher, in my opinion. I guess if I was to nitpick about this, you can say that the snowflake hand can sometimes obscure your view of the subdials, but listen, if you're timing like rocket launches with a pink chronograph, you might have other problems. So let's finish the video with 3 honorable mentions. First, the Black Bay Burgundy that I reviewed a while back. This was a standout. It's kind of surprising how a red bezel can change the look of a classic diver, but whether it's on the Jubilee or the Oyster, this was such a looker of a watch. It is big, 41x13.6, so I reserve it for wrists like 7 inches and above, but it's like a classic Tudor recipe that's been refined over the years to pretty much perfection. It finally has like modern things like the Metas movement, the T-fit clasp. And I think it's perfect for someone who wants a pop of color without going full Liberace. Next is the Pelagos 39, which was a much anticipated watch for many, including me. A downsized Pelagos to 39 was a no-brainer. And who doesn't like the square hour markers to match the square on the snowflake hand? But I gotta be honest, when I got hands-on with the 39, I felt like it lost a lot of the little details that made the full-size Pelagos special, from the unique kind of carved out chapter ring to the switch from regular lume to lume blocks. And the kind of shiny bezel and the weight was just a little toyish. I didn't really connect with it, but your mileage may vary. Lastly, I want to mention the Black Bay Chrome. This one was a surprise. I don't think a lot of people saw this one coming. It's like the opposite of all the colorful things we've been getting. And it went back to basics, offering the best of Tudor tech and engineering in a monochromatic format that kind of resembles a Rolex Submariner. I haven't gotten to play with one of these yet, but it seems to be a favorite on the WatchCrunch app, so check it out there if you want to see kind of more pictures of it. But what's your favorite Tudor right now? Let me know if you have anything to add to this list, and I'll see you guys in the next one.